What's up, everybody? We're going to do a little snake draft today. This is a draft on DraftKings, 12-player draft, NBA, $10 entry. I think top prize is top prize is $38. Second prize is $16. I think that's how I go. I have to double. I'm sorry, top prize is 108. And first prize is 54. Second prize, I think, is 30, and third is 16, something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but that's why I like the 12-player prize. The first prize has a pretty good payout on a $10 investment. So, and that's what I'm doing today. I like the snake drafts on DraftKings. I haven't checked FanDuel about their snake drafts yet, but I will slowly get into their snake drafts, which has been very beneficial to me in NBA, and I've been playing with baseball a little bit too. So in this draft right here today, we have a lot of people out, on injuries. I had the first pick, and I took Luka Doncic from the Mavericks. In these drafts, in the 12-player drafts, your picks are far and few between. You have to be smart. You have to find value because you're probably going to get one or two, so-called superstars to pick. So you're going to have to be smart and pick players that are going to contribute and give you at least 20 fantasy points. I want every player. My goal is to have every player to give me over 30 fantasy points. If I get every player to give me over 30 fantasy points, I will win the contest. And so you have to do your research. I mean, you see here, I'm looking at Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart has been on fire lately, but Mason Plumlee came back. So Mason Plumlee is a good option because Mason Plumlee, see that young stud nipping at his heels, who's going to take his job sooner than later. And so you got a motivated Mason Plumlee who is playing well also because he has to. He's going to lose his job. So what I'm also doing here is I'm queuing up players, getting prepared, ready to go. With the snake draft, I do not like the auto draft unless you're able to get your players organized well before the draft. And a lot of times you just don't have time, and the auto draft is going to pick players even if they're out or hurt. They don't determine. They don't care. It's up to you to determine which players you choose. That's what I like so much about this. Some players are questionable. If you have a little bit more information, that they will play. If you're following the local beat writers, they can kind of give you a good idea. Or you go to sites like RotoWire, RotoGrinder. Sometimes they have some pretty good up-to-date information. But I tend to stay away from players that are questionable when I'm doing a snake draft, just because sometimes these drafts take. I do these drafts earlier in the day, and you just don't know what's going to happen around game time. This is a 12-player draft. 12 players, you got a lot of picks for the amount of players that are available. So for this draft, like I say, I like them. These are a lot of fun, and I'm going to start doing them on FanDuel. I just haven't did it on FanDuel yet. I'm only doing it on DraftKings. So during this process, when I'm making this draft, I have my injuries up on another screen. So I'm looking at the injuries for the day. I'm looking at the starting lineups for each team for the day. And I've already kind of studied the projections for the players. And I'm kind of going on memory on projections. I do a little brief study in the morning of players, how they did the day before. Because typically if they had a real bad game the day before, and they're playing a back-to-back, or they're playing, not even a back-to-back, just a game after that bad game, they tend to do well, or at least they tend to put up shots. And if they put up shots, you're going to do well. NBA, if you put up shots, you're going to do well. So it's just a fun draft to do, fun thing to play on DraftKings to break up the monotony of doing the tournaments and the double ups or whatever you choose to invest in on DraftKings. I'm mainly an NBA. I invest in double ups, and I do snake draft. Now baseball is in tow. Baseball, I play with tournaments, and I'm playing with the snake draft and baseball, but I'm starting out real low, just dollar games to kind of get a feel and kind of get my system down for baseball. So in this draft right here, you see me looking at Chris Boucher. He's had some huge games recently. Toronto is depleted. It's just him and Gary Trent really right now to provide scoring. And Gary Trent is doing a little bit of everything for him because you got Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet out. OG is out today just for rest. They're depleted. Chris Boucher and Gary Trent is all it is. Boucher should have a big game. Trent should have a big game. Definitely some players to take. So in the snake draft, you have two guards, two forwards, forward/center, and two utility players who can be, either a guard or a forward. You see me, I have two picks back to back here, and I'm worried about guards getting productive guards and good productive forwards because I got the last pick in the second round, first pick in the third round. So let's see what I do here. Took Gary Trent. I got to take him. I mean, I can't see who else is going to score on Toronto. And you see, I'm a little hesitant about choosing Mr. Plumlee. I looked through the lineup, but I did decide to take Mr. Plumlee for my third pick. So my three picks so far: Luka, Trent, and Plumlee. So this draft right here, the ones with 12 players takes about 20 minutes, which is not too much time. Shorter drafts with 3 players don't take that long. Shorter draft with 6 players, they don't take that long. This is the longest draft you'll see. It's a 12-player draft in DraftKings. You see, I'm looking for a guard because I'm worried about a guard. I'm worried about guards right now. Not many good guards available. So you see me looking at Cole Anthony, who's been having decent nights. You saw me looking at Tim Hardaway Jr. Another one to look at is Jalen Brunson. They're playing San Antonio today. Could be a blowout. Porzingis may not play. You kind of don't know with Dallas sometimes what's going to happen. Brunson didn't have a good game last game. His games previous to that, he had 30 and 20 and 20 something fantasy points. Last game, he only had 8 fantasy points. With him not having only 8 fantasy points means he didn't have a good night on the floor. His real-time production, I really didn't look at, but he's a good option. And you see me having second thoughts about Mr. Boucher here. I'm just worried that they played a lot of games in a lot of days, but still, it's only 2 of them, Gary Trent and Boucher today. That's really about it for Toronto. So, hey, these drafts are fun. I really think you should think about getting into them. I started off doing the dollar drafts, and then I moved up to the $5. Now I'm on the $10. I'm going to move up to $20 and keep moving it up as I get this system down with the NBA. NBA, you got to have some feel. You got to see what's going on. You kind of got to be in a player's mind. I haven't played basketball before in my past, and you kind of got to know the basketball player and how they're going to do on the back-to-back. Who are they playing against? And like with Toronto, depleted lineup, someone has to score for Toronto today. It's going to be Gary Trent and Boucher, and that's really it. Someone to step up off the bench also, but Gary Trent is going to put up more shots than he usually put up. So I really do find the snake draft a lot of fun. It's very interesting. I'm glad they added it. There is a snake draft for showdown mode. Have not messed with that yet, but I will. Just haven't got around to it yet. So this is the time of year. NBA is coming down to its crunch time. Baseball is just getting. Baseball is just getting started. And baseball and DFS, I mean, that's a very interesting thing. I'm really working on my model for baseball DFS, and I plan to basically focus on tournaments for baseball DFS, focus on double ups for NBA to the end of the NBA season, which is, we got about 5 more weeks left, and focus on baseball tournaments. And I think that's all I'm going to focus on in baseball this year in DFS is tournaments, and I'm going to do the snake draft thing in baseball also. I think we got basketball up until June, July. We got baseball, then, hey, football is right around the corner after that. But yeah, baseball is, I'm just really trying to get that down. I have not been very successful in the past with baseball DFS. I'm determined to change that. And, you have a baseball player, projected to give you whatever 8 or 9 fantasy points. They give you 0. You can easily have Mookie Betts go 0 for 4 for a day, not get on base, even against a bad pitcher. It's just baseball. Players have bad games, and you're just trying to pick the players who are going to have a good game that day, which is very, very tough. Even if you're focusing on the high point totals for the game, you can screw that up sometimes, and not get the best lineup in place. So I'm really working on that. I'm working on a model that I'm testing out currently, on tournaments, dollar tournaments, $2 tournaments, $3 tournaments, single entry tournaments. I'm testing my model out on that. And before I move up to the higher stakes, the model has to work on the lower stake games. So I did do a snake draft for baseball the other day. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I think I'm only going to focus on three-player snake drafts for baseball because of the change in lineup so close to games. Sometimes they announce a starter and they get changed right before game time. So I don't want to risk that when these snake drafts sometimes occur very early in the day. So yeah, I'm looking forward to baseball. And also, sports betting in baseball is the best way to go. It's a sport you can make money on in baseball. Usually after the first month, you can see the trends and see how things are going to go. And you can attack baseball pretty hard with sports betting. That's what I do. I attack baseball pretty hard with sports betting. So I'm so looking forward to this season. So grateful to be able to bet on the games and do DFS for the games. As you can see, I've took Luka, TJ McConnell, Gary Trent, Mason Plumlee, and Sadiq Bey of Detroit, who's been very steady. Glad he was still there this late in the draft because I've already made my 5th pick, and he has been giving you averaging 25 fantasy points per game over the last 5 games. I'm going to take that. TJ McConnell, a little iffy about that pick. Wasn't many guards left. I needed a guard. Matthew Brogdon is back, so that's going to cut into TJ's production a little bit. Miles Turner, the center, is out tonight. I'm really looking for TJ's bench production points that he used to give on a nightly basis with him coming off the bench. That's what I'm looking for. If I get that, I think I'll be okay. So we got one play. I got one player left, and I don't have much to choose from. So as you can see, I'm looking at players. I'm looking at Steven Adams, who's been playing well lately. I'm looking at a lot of players, just trying to get, one player that I'm hoping that can give me over 20 points in that 6th-round pick, which I may have the last pick in the draft. Um, I can see the snake draft gaining more popularity. As more people starts to play, the more snake drafts will be offered, and prize pools will probably get a little bit better for the snake draft. I mean, I really like the option for me to play this $10 snake draft, and if I get first place, I earn $54. I really, really like that. I like that. So that's a pretty good investment. I've been playing it for for a while now. For pretty much since they brought them out, and I really uh, like the return on investment. So you're not gonna win them all, but placing in them may put you in the green. So hey, that's my snake draft video for today. Think about getting into the snake draft. I got one more pick, and you will see the pick that I make here shortly. I see I'm looking at Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson plays very well on the road. I like him on the road. So I got the last pick in the draft. I'm looking at Jalen Brunson also. Like I say, Jalen could come through. I'm probably going to pick Jalen in this because they're playing San Antonio at home. Uh, could be a blowout. Jalen could see a lot more time. So Jalen Brunson is the pick. You can see the lineup is Luka, McConnell, Trent, Plumlee, Bay, and Brunson. Hey, let's see how this lineup runs it up. Until the next video. Peace.